Hello Warriors, it's Bebe and Toro here. Welcome to the Warrior Enclave, where we shatter our silence, share our stories, and believe women, period. So today we have a very special episode for you.
This is our finale episode of our summer series that we've had going on since the beginning of May, I believe. And so every single week, every Friday, we dropped a video for y'all of all our summer shenanigans, and it's been a good one. Honestly, it's been quite awesome having something to do, because some of you know, but we're homebodies over here, so putting ourselves out there and getting ourselves to be plugged into activity all summer definitely helped in terms of getting us out of the house, and as well as even
just keeping us occupied with the work after, the editing, the planning, the cutting and putting everything together for you, the posting. So it was good to have some engaging work through the summer. And you start something and you take it one step at a time. A 1,000-mile journey starts with one step, and here we are at the end. And so we're just kind of filled with gratitude to have been able to commit to something and to have been able to see it through to completion at a good standard throughout, or what we hope is a good standard.
I definitely, honestly, because when we first started and we were planning everything out, I was like, oh God, like, are we not going to miss a day like this? Are we not going to miss a video? But true to form, actually, we didn't. Like, every single week we kept up with it, we kept on posting, and we were happy with the way it was received, the way we put ourselves out there, and even the quality of the work was definitely on point, I will say. And sometimes I watch the old videos and I see the growth in terms of how we edit, how we record. Like, we've definitely come a long way, and this summer series was something that proved that to us, as well as to everyone else that has given feedback on it. So yeah, it was awesome. It was a great project to tap into, and of course to shepherd all the way down to this final episode that we have for y'all. In fact, we have one more episode that we were supposed to drop, which is the Warrior Enclave going on an air balloon.
A hot air balloon.
Yeah, hot air balloon episode. However, that kind of activity is weather dependent. Like, we got cancelled 5 individual times. We'll rebook, they will cancel, we'll rebook, they will cancel for whatever reason. One day they'll say it's the weather, one day they'll say the wind, one day they'll say too much mud.
Visibility.
Yeah, so they kept on posting us like that up until now, where the season has kind of come to its conclusion. And so the next time we can even go on the hot air balloon will be next year. Thankfully, when you buy a ticket, the voucher is for a whole year, because they know it's a weather dependent activity. So expect multiple cancellations. So that's the final video we were supposed to post prior to this one. However, we'll post that for some other time.
Yeah, sometimes things happen out of your control, and you just have to make the best of it. But yeah, this is just a word of encouragement for anybody out there who is starting a project, and you plan it out and you see how long it's going to take, and you foresee how much work is going to go into it, and you feel and it seems daunting. Like I said, you just have to start taking it one step at a time, and you'll be shocked by the time you're like halfway through, 3/4 way through, and then finally at the end, and you've gestated and birthed something and put it out there. So yeah,
for me, like, we did so many things. Almost everything was a favorite for me, but like I was like, I think we should give them what our top 3. What was your top 3 activity for the summer?
I had a lot of favorites, so I don't know if my ranking is gonna be like a hierarchy thing, like top 3, but I can mention 3 favorites in no particular order. If I had to pick 3 from all that we did this summer, I will say high tea. I really liked that because of my family's background with tea and high tea, and just the pomp and circumstance that goes into it. So I really liked getting all dolled up for it, going to a tea house and just getting into my crumpets bag. So that was fun. Bungee jumping was another favorite, just for the thrill of it. Very, very energizing. Just that shit will wake you up. So yeah, it was fun. It appealed to like my thrill seeking side. And I'd say another favorite was the spa day. Now it was a very rainy day. So that kind of got in the way a little bit because we had to like be in and out. But I really enjoyed it. Like I love a good water circuit. I love a good massage. I love just being able to go somewhere and let your hair down and just chill. So that was very good as well. I will give an honorable mention to King Promise. That was a fun concert to go to.
You better.
For some reason, I was a little bit of a muse.
He took to her, y'all.
So it was nice to get that attention, like as he was performing and stuff. And he's a really good performer. His music is good. So yeah, I did enjoy that night as well.
It's so interesting hearing what your top 3 was because mine is like the opposite. Like yours was giving chill, calm, the high tea, the spa. Mine is all rah all over the place. Like number 1, that King Promise concert. Oh my god! Like I got my life. I think I even got my life even more than the person that was getting his attention. Like he was on Toro from the very, very beginning, and I was just dying. Just oh god. It was a lot for me, but like, yeah, King Promise for sure. The second one for me, I think, is definitely the bungee jump because, I mean, for me, I've never gone skydiving before. Toro has, but I felt like, okay, this would be like my work up to skydiving. Only for Toro to tell me that she thinks this one was worse than skydiving, and I'm like, oh god. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy jumping down. Like, how many was it? 200 feet?
Yeah, 200
Yeah, 200 feet. It was wild. It was crazy. And for me, I love it because I just told myself, I was like, I'm going to jump. On that very first count, I'm going to jump. Because prior to us getting on, the people ahead of us, they will have to count down for them like 2-3 times. Some of them even turned back and said, you know what, they're not even jumping again.
I was just one shot.
But still, like, and she was the first person. So she set the tone that, is this thing really that bad like this? So, but by the time it got to us, because they lined us up according to weight, so Toro and I were at the back with like one other person. So by the time it got to our turn, I was like, you know what? On the first count, I'm going to jump. I don't even care. And I almost did, but I just jumped. And honestly, it was the most exhilarating experience ever. Like, I highly recommend throwing yourself off a ledge somewhere. Of course, safely, knowing fully well, because you know you're going to land. I'm like, these people have not had an accident. It's not with me that they'll have it. So that's what just gave me that confidence. And so the final activity for me, I think, is the bounce house. Like, for me, my inner child just came out fully. I just loved it. It was crazy. And I was just like, I don't know how I was doing this as a kid. Bouncing from, like, how many hours did we spend there? It was like 3 hours. Was it 2.5, 3 hours we spent
thereabouts?
Yeah, at the bounce house. But like, by the end of it, I was done. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I could have spent 8 hours on here and I wouldn't even be tired. I wouldn't even want to eat. But yeah, it was just wild seeing like grown ass adults, because we went for the adults only time. So it was just big kids everywhere. We were losing our minds. We had so much fun. And yeah, I'll say my inner child got to have the most fun possible. So for me, those are my top 3. And are they in order? Yeah, I think I would say they are actually in order. King Promise, the bungee jump, and then the bounce house episode. So definitely watch the playlist that we have on the summer series and follow us all through 2024, the Warrior Enclave summer, and you'll get to see all these activities that we're talking about.
So, seeing as we've announced that this is our final episode for the summer, you might be wondering what is next for the Warrior Enclave. And at this juncture, I guess it's a time as any to share that the Warrior Enclave, Authenticity Warrior, the Warrior Universe is in a bit of a wind down phase now. We're looking to put things on ice for now and for the foreseeable future. Just because tapping into the flow of things, we kind of feel called to engage in more private and individual pursuits at this time. And so this is also a little bit of a farewell for us. And, we really, really, really would love to just express gratitude to our audience, to our followers, the people who have been with us from the beginning, hearing the stories, the horror stories, the terror stories through our lectures and our rehashing and ruminating. And even up until this point with the summer series, where one thing that we're really trying to showcase and highlight is that there is life, and life abundantly after abuse, and after going through hell. If you catch hell, don't hold it. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Just keep moving.
Child.
And you can come out on the other side with lots of beautiful colors and dreams and adventures, coming to fruition and realizations for you. And so, it's been a wonderful journey. It's inspired a lot of growth, a lot of introspection and reflection and learning and lessons and healing. Exactly. And so, we're looking forward to what the future holds for each of us. And looking forward to what other offerings we may find ourselves, providing for y'all.
I think it's very important what you said about just like honoring what the time is calling for, because that's actually how this whole thing started in the first place. Like, I don't think any of us ever dreamed that this was what we were going to be doing, over the last few years, but the times just called for this kind of action, for us to take action the way that we did. And wouldn't you know it, like, this was key. I'll say, as, someone who, went through what I went through, the Warrior Universe was key to my healing. It was crucial. And so I'm just so grateful that we honored the call to arms, as it were, and we connected, we plugged in, and we gave it our all, we gave it our best, and we did not hold anything back. For those of you who've been listening, from the podcast to the corner series to everything, you saw that we didn't hold anything back. We left it all on the floor. And I think that was just what was so special about these individual projects, collectively to put together. This is what was so special about it all, in that it caused us to really dig deep, to fight for our healing and to win. I think that part too is very, very important, because there's this quote by Maya Angelou. She always says it all the time. She was like, you may go through many defeats, but you must never be defeated. And I think that's what this channel did for us. Like, for those of you who know the story, you saw L after L after L. Did I chop? I consumed it. But I honestly am just so proud of myself. I'm just so proud to know that I was not defeated in any of it. And instead, through the vehicle of the Warrior Universe, I've been able to lay it all down and actually heal and get to move on with my life. And so I'm just so proud of everyone who was committed to this community, who supported us along the way, every step of the way, and shepherded us all the way to this final point, that we're here now recording this final video for y'all.
So there have been some goings on since the last time we spoke about the content of the Authenticity Warrior story, which is, as you know, a quick recap of fleeing from an abusive marriage, ensuing chaos, legal brouhaha. Anyways, while we're here in Canada ruled that they refused to accept jurisdiction. And so as a result of that ruling, the children had to go back to Nigeria, and have been in the custody of their father since, while legal proceedings continue to happen in Nigeria. So since then, there have been some things that have happened, and so we're just gonna give you a quick, brief update on some of those things.
So as you know, the whole point of me, Bebe, fleeing Nigeria in the first place was because I knew that there was no way I will get a fair hearing. I knew that there was no way justice in any way, shape, or form was going to be afforded to me just as a woman. I just knew that, oh my goodness, I wouldn't find safety in Nigeria. Aside from the fact that, my life was at, risk, just being in the same vicinity as the people, as the abuser and their family. So I just knew that coming to Canada was my best shot. Unfortunately, while the courts may have had a full hearing on the matter, they ultimately ruled that the children should go back to Nigeria because they hadn't been physically living in Canada all this while. So that was heartbreaking for me, just imagining, because myself and my children are Canadian citizens. So I thought that there would be some sort of leeway in terms of even addressing the pressing issues at hand. So that was a hard blow for me to take. So the children had to go back. I knew for sure I was not going back because for me, my life, I just felt like, the best shot my children have is for me to be alive, first and foremost. And so I was not going to give anybody or anything the opportunity to jeopardize that in any way, shape, or form. So my choosing not to go back was first and foremost self-preservation. And but in all of that, I think part of what the decision had also taken into account was promises by my children's father that he was going to ensure that the children maintained contact with me and all of that. Unfortunately, no sooner did my children return to Nigeria did he commence his parental alienation. And for those of you who do not know, parental alienation is when one parent interferes, blocks, basically manipulates the interaction that the children have with their other parent. So for me, it's been lights out. It's been blank. I have had no contact, no interaction, no speaking, no hearing from, no updates, no anything with regards to my children. And it's been 2 years now, actually, since I have last seen, heard. I don't know anything that's going on with my children.
I think it's also important to mention and state very clearly that parental alienation is child abuse. That is recognized by the law and something that one can be prosecuted for. Like, it is a crime against children to withhold access to another parent, to negatively influence their perception of another parent, and all that other sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, but of course, that's not anything I have control over. I knew that those were the risks when I decided that I was not going to be going back to Nigeria. But for me, I had to wait, and I am happy with the choice that I made. While it is a painful one, it is one that I absolutely do not regret. Do I have any hope as to how any of this will ever be resolved? Well, no, I actually don't, because as my sister already mentioned, parallel proceedings were happening in Nigeria. My children's father had commenced his own, sham of a trial with all sorts of allegations against me, this and that, and so on and so forth. Just everything to brand me with a scarlet letter. And it took over 2 years again for that to even come to its conclusion. That just finally came to its conclusion earlier this year. And that's just because of, the way Nigeria is. There was an election last year, a presidential election. So a lot of things were just kind of stalled. So for 2 years as well, that the legal matters in Nigeria were ongoing. But for me personally, I actually chose to be very distant from it. I didn't plug in, I didn't tap in, because once it just became clear that I was not going to be given a fair chance, a fair hearing, a fair opportunity to state my own case, I hands off of it. So once Canada ruled the way it ruled, I hands off whatever it is that was going on in Nigeria. Of course, my lawyers continued to do what they did, but I kept a distance from it all, because I just knew that it wasn't going to be helpful, and I just to protect myself and to protect my peace, I kept my distance from the whole thing. So this year, all of that came to its own conclusion, and the courts in Nigeria granted my children's father everything they decided they wanted, everything they were claiming and all of that. And I didn't really have anything to say because I wasn't allowed to participate in the trial at all. So that being said, my children are with their father. They are with their father's family, and they hold all the cards with regards to that. So how would any of this be resolved? The truth of the matter is, I don't know. I have just decided that for my peace, for my own safety, for my own sanity, I'm just going to continue to remain where I am and just keep moving forward with my life, and just trust that, when I had to send my children back to Nigeria, I placed them in the hands of God. And to me, that is the final of it all. There's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to do. There's nothing. And that's the only thing that gives me peace. And that is what has sustained me these last 2 years. And that is what will continue to sustain me for however long the other side decides to continue in their abuse. But that has nothing to do with me. I have left all of that in the past. I have left all of that alone. So for me, I'm just pressing forward. I'm just moving forward with my life. So yeah, it's lock-in season for me, man. It's time to lock in. Honestly, there's so much I need to do. There's so much I need to accomplish. There's so much that was kind of kept on hold while I was healing through everything that I went through, yo. I needed the time. And I just want to even use this opportunity to say a big thank you to my sister here, because she gave me the space, the room, the resources, everything that I needed to actually heal, and for the most part, even at her expense. And without any of that, I don't even know where I would be on this whole journey till now. I think I would probably still be somewhere locked up in a dark room, just in agony about everything that happened. But I'm just so grateful that I was able to navigate my way through all the darkness, through all the pain, through all the hurts. And I walked through. I came out on the other side. And with that, I feel renewed. I feel rejuvenated. I feel encouraged to begin to move forward with my life. And there's already so much that I'm already kind of plugged into and tapped into. And so that's just what it is for me. I'm just going to keep moving forward. So it's lock-in season, and I guess that's part of why it feels like the Warrior universe too has kind of come to its own natural conclusion, because these other things, I need to be able to pour myself into it and bring them up the way that they need to be. So with that being said, for my children, all I do is I wage war on their behalf for them spiritually. I am their mother, and that has mighty significance, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, and even divinely. That role is sacred, and I take that role very seriously. I love watching the Harry Potter movies. So when I just think of Lily, and even though Harry Potter basically grew up his entire life without, the presence of his parents, but the things that his mother had put in place to ensure his own survival, to ensure his own victory over, some of the darkest moments of his life. That is just what I imagine And that's just what I find myself doing for my children, just waging war for them in that regard. And I just know, while it seems as if my children's father and his family, they're doing a lot. Honestly, they're doing a lot that frankly is quite unnecessary. A marriage ended. There really is no need for all of this mess, really. That being said, I can't control their actions. I can't control their behavior. I can't control their intent. I can't control anything that goes on in that demented space. But what I can do is just face my front, which is what I have been doing, and just trust. What I trust in is this: God is peaceful. God is kind. God is love. And so what I just believe is, when the time comes, the reunification with my children will be peaceful. It will be beautiful. It will be effortless. It will be stress-free. So that is just what I just plug into and believe and put all my own eggs into. So it doesn't matter anything that is going on the outside. I don't look at any of that. I face my front. Basically everybody that isn't within my inner circle is blocked. I don't see anything. I don't see any arrows. I don't see anything. So, and that has helped me maintain my peace, maintain my focus, and to just keep moving forward. So with that being said, we press on. We're locked in. Let's go.
Alright, warriors, thank you for watching today's vlog. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to check out the Authenticity Warrior podcast on Apple, Spotify, and here on YouTube. Alright, y'all. Bye.